And so we start our initial connection to this practice with the breath. And the breath is the one constant throughout the practice. So while the asana, the poses, the physical aspect of the practice changes moment to moment, the breath is what is kind of the glue to our entire practice. So sit back on your heels. Ooh. Press the arms out in front of you. And see if you can sink your hips closer to your heels. And feel the breath. Good morning, Paul. I'm just going to, there is a playlist if you want to, it's in the share in the chat room. All right, so start to slow the breath down a little bit. Start to count the inhaling breath. And then make the exhaling breath ever so slightly longer. And so the breath becomes almost like a mantra. And it keeps us present, and it takes us away from all the other distractions that are surely going around us, and then sometimes just in our own heads. So let that breath be your distraction for the distractions. Now this time, as you begin to slow down the inhaling breath, pause at the top of that inhalation. Just maybe pull up your pelvic muscles a little bit before emptying the breath and letting go. So my head is elevated just so I can see you, but I want you to keep your heads down. So inhale, pause, and retain that breath. And then exhale, empty it all out. Let's take just a few more rounds of that on your own. Inhaling, pause. Exhaling, empty. And then when you're done with that, just return to a soft, slow breath. And then if your arms are not outstretched, go ahead and bring them out in front of you. Reach your fingers far in front of you as you push your hips all the way back to your heels. Relax your shoulders. See if you can create some space under the arms, around the shoulders, behind the back. This is a pose that you can come to anytime you need to, right? You don't need my permission. You come just down to child's pose. Take a big breath in here. Walk the arms out a little bit further and see if you can push the hips back a little bit further. And then using the heel of the hand as if you're going to pull the mat to your knees, roll up onto your knees and then adjust your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. And then pull the shoulder blades apart from each other. Let your head come down to the floor. On the inhaling breath, arch your back, tuck your toes, dip your belly, and bring your collarbones towards the front of your mat. And just extend. And then roll the toes underneath you, chin to chest, round and curl, spread from shoulder to shoulder. Tuck that tailbone underneath you. And now take a couple rounds of cat-cow on your own. Take your time, there's no need to rush. Slow and steady. Exhale, round and curl when you're ready. Oh, and now I sound like Brian Kest. I don't mean to rhyme. Inhale, arch your back, dip your belly, broaden your collarbones. Exhale, round and curl. So just do a couple more, just following it with your breath. This is our, really, this is vinyasa. This is linking breath and movement right here. And then we'll find our way to a neutral position between the two extremes. Our spine is meant to move in 6 directions, so that's 2 of them. We'll add a few more to this at some point. Take your right arm out in front of you and take the thumb up to the ceiling and just keep your left shoulder over your left wrist. And start to move your hips back and circle your arm back. Big circles, just kind of juicing up the joints here. And then maybe take it in the other direction. So you'll find initially if there's any stickiness going on. Take one more breath and bring it all the way up, right arm up. Look at it for a moment. And as you exhale, thread it underneath the left arm. Walk your left arm forward. Bring the back of your head or perhaps your ear to the floor. So don't force it, just let it go where it goes. Maybe the shoulder comes down, maybe not. And any other variations that you take here, if you want to lift one leg, if you want to bind, if you want to push back a little bit more to your heels, I encourage you to kind of find your space, right? Do what feels right to you. Take another breath. Now keep your left arm out in front of you if it's not, and then bring your foot back down if it's not. And then cross the left arm over the right arm. Come up and let's stretch the shoulders a little bit more. Palms together, eagle wrap. Rise up onto your shins. If you need to, tuck your toes under. Arch back, lift from the middle, upper back. And then exhale, come back to sitting. Bring your hands down into the midline of your spine. Tuck your chin in and just fold a little bit forward and bring your pinky edges of your fingers onto the floor. Kind of like tortoise pose. And then come on back up using your strength of your back and your spine and your core. Rise up one more time. Reach the arms up. Lift up and open up the back and stretch the front chest towards the sky. As you exhale, come to the floor. Release your arms or come to seated. Bring your arms up over your head, inhale, and place them back down on the floor underneath you. Do one little cat-cow just to move a little bit. And then come to neutral with your left arm out in front of you, thumb up to the sky. And start to circle the arm back and the hips back. And just kind of, notice the stickiness if there is any. And then reverse the direction. Good. So like any other sport, right, we warm up. Take the right arm up overhead. Our sun salutations help to assist in that as well. Look at it for a moment and stretch it underneath the right arm. Left ear, back of the head to the floor, right arm out in front of you. Keep your hips up or push them down, it's up to you. And if you have a bind, if you want to lift the leg, you bind, whatever it is that you do here, please feel free to do it. I want you to explore and find space in your body. We're like little Dora the Explorers, right? We're looking for space, things to find. One more breath. Now, if your right arm's not outstretched, bring it out. Go ahead and sit back on your heels, and then cross your right arm in front of your left and eagle wrap your arms together. Maybe your palms don't touch, so you're just holding apart. Back of your palms can touch. Now, on the inhaling breath, let's rise up and arch back. Lift the hands up and then back. And as you exhale, come down to your seat. Bring your arms in front of you. Rest your pinky side, the blade side of your fingers on the floor. So keep the wrists and forearms off the floor. Fold down. And then come back up to sitting and rise back up onto your shins one more time. Arch back. And this time as you release the breath, we release the arms. Take the arms up overhead. And reach them out in front of you one more time. Stretch them all the way out. Back into that child's pose. Inhale, rise up to your hands and knees, tuck your toes. Keep your feet as wide as your mat for now, the short edge of your mat. And then lift your hips up but bend your knees. Let your belly rest towards your thighs. Breathe in, breathe out. If you're newer to practice and you just aren't sure about your positioning, your hips are up, your heels are pressing backwards, your chest presses towards your thighs without collapsing into your shoulders. And so those of you familiar, you know to walk your dog if you feel like you need a little bit of a movement here. Pressing down nice and firm into the hands. Hips are in the sky. You look like an inverted letter V or an upside down letter V. Now our feet are as wide as our mat. So bend your knees a little bit. And then just lift your hips a little higher. Bring your chest a little lower. With your knees bent, and you might have to adjust your hands, take your right hand to your left shin or ankle and twist underneath your left arm. So you have 3 limbs on the floor and they're supporting you. Take another breath. Release the right hand and take the left hand to the right ankle, foot or shin. Try to do this without shifting your hips off to one side or the other. Right? Try to still keep the hips level or parallel. Breathe. Good. Release your hands as you take the next breath. Keep the knees bent. Press your chest towards your thighs. And then rise up onto your toes. Straighten your legs a little bit more. And shift forward to a plank so that your shoulders are over your wrists, your belly is lifted, and your feet are again as wide as the mat. Either lower your right knee or just spin onto your right arm and come into a side plank Vashisthasana. So here, your shoulders about over your wrist, but your bottom side of your body lifts up. Breathe and open up. One more breath. Exhale, left hand down. Back to downward dog with the wide legs. Inhale, high on your toes. Back to your plank, shoulders over wrist, belly lifted. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up. Maybe your left knee is on the floor. So everything looks nice and great. Make sure you're lifting that bottom side body up. Big breath. Inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down. Back to downward dog with the wide leg. Soften your knees as you walk your hands to your feet. Come to the back of your mat. Your feet are again still as wide as your mat. Take your arms and interlace, grab opposite elbows. Hang your head down. Feel the weight of your upper body carrying you downward. Keep a soft bend in the knee. Switch the cross of the arms. Pull the arms apart like you're trying to just separate them, but you're like a piece of steel that you can't turn, you can't separate it, so you pull against it. And then keep the biceps by the ears as you roll up to stand up. Biceps by your ears. Good. Lift out of your waistline. Inhale. And lean to your right side right here on the biceps. So here's another way we work our spine, right? A little lateral movement. Inhale back to center, switch sides. Up and over. So don't just crunch into that left side. Lift up and then over. So before we bend, before we twist, we find length in the spine. Come back up to the center. Inhale. Open up your arms. Stretch your arms out to the side like a wide V. And then bring the arms behind your back. Interlace your fingers, palms together, knuckles down. Lift your heart up. Soften your knees and fold over your legs. Uttanasana, wide-legged. Hang your head. If you're tight in your shoulders, feel free to use a strap or a towel to bring yourselves down. If you're super flexy, your arms might be going further over your head. Good, Tisha. Nice. Breathe. Why did I know that you would be that flexy? One more big breath. Now release your hands and roll up nice and slow. Good. Bring the arms back up overhead. Exhale, fold down to the floor. Lengthen your spine, look forward. Walk your hands to a downward facing dog. Step your feet about, hips width apart. So a little closer than they've been. Hips width if you're not sure. 2 fists about in between the inner foot is about the size or the width of our hips. Lift up onto your toes, pull your knees up. Measure your plank. Let's just make sure we came into it in the right position. And then find your downward dog again. Lift your hips up. Let's do that again. On your toes, come forward, high plank. Option to bring your right knee down or just bring your right hand in the center and spin open. So now our feet are staggered, but not as wide as they were before. Still lifting that right side of your body up. Maybe the left arm comes up and over and you take a beautiful little arch. Exhale, left hand down. Let's just shift right into the other side. Lifting your bottom side up. Lift your hips up. Lift your heart up. Right arm over your head. And then we return to our plank. Push back downward dog. Walk your hands back to your feet, back of the mat. You don't have to have straight legs here. Fold over. This time take your hands, interlace your fingers, and clasp them behind the back of your neck. So don't pull on your neck, just place your hands there and give a gentle little urging towards your elbows towards each other and your chest towards your thighs. And just kind of create like chin to chest as you start to roll up through your spine. As you come up, let your head rest into your arms. I always say like you're at the beach watching kids in the water and you're just kind of hanging out there. Inhale. Make sure your bottom ribs and your top hip kind of meet towards each other rather than pooching out. Lift up and over to the right side. Side bending again. Good. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over to the other side. So twisting, bending, we find length first. Inhale back to center. Extend your arms all the way up over your head. Lift out of your waistline. Soften your knees and open up your arms, forward fold. Hang your head, let go. Lengthen your spine. Inhale, walk back to your downward dog with your feet about hips width apart. Settle in here. Come high up on your tippy toes. Shift forward to your plank pose. Lower to your knees or chaturanga here. Hold for a moment. Roll through, upward dog. So if you need to modify, if you want to add push-ups, if you want to skip any chaturangas, and go to downward facing dog is where we meet. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, just follow along, we'll get you there. One more breath. Bring your feet to touch the back of your mat. Lift high up on your tippy toes. Shift yourself forward to a high plank. Either lower the right arm or stay on your toes, right knee, and then come into your side plank with your feet stacked. Now, if you can't stack your feet, stagger your feet. If you're in stack and you want to lift the top leg, any variation there is welcome. So I encourage you again to do you. One more breath. Left hand down and take it right into the other side. So lift up, stack your feet, lift your top leg, grab a hold of the toe, do whatever you do. And then release it, come down. Hips in the air, down dog. One more time, walk your hands back to your feet. Soften your knees, forward fold. Hang your head, let go. Halfway lift. Feet are a little closer. They may be a little bit wider if you need to. Exhale, separate your feet. Give me your peace fingers. Wrap around your big toes, lengthen your spine, inhale. And then push your toes against your hands and your hands against your toes. Draw the elbows out to the side, the head to the shins. Shift your weight a little bit forward into the balls of the feet and release the tension in your neck for one more breath. On the inhale, look forward, pull your toes. And then this time, bring your hands to your heart center and rise up to standing. Tuck your tailbone underneath you, and now if your feet are separated, see if you want to bring them a little closer, your choice. Inhale the arms up overhead, release the thumb and forefinger, drop your shoulders down. Now, find length in those side bodies, inhale, just like we did in our side plank. Exhale, up and over, pull your left arm with your right arm, standing Ardha Chandrasana. Side bending, breathe in and breathe out. And rise up on the inhale. I'm not staying too long today. Exhale, up and over. So you're creating a crescent shape, so it's like you have a ball underneath your waistline and you're lifting up and over that ball. And then rise up to standing, inhale. This time if you want to do a little bit of a back bend here, arch the back, lift from the middle upper back, biceps stay by the ears. Softening the knees as you bring yourself forward and you tune yourself right back down to the floor. Biceps staying by the ears until you get the floor. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Walk out, downward facing dog. Take your time. Separate your feet, chest to your thighs. And let's just measure it out. Come to high plank. Take a vinyasa, skip it, add to it. You do you. Upward dog. Downward dog we meet. Breathe in, breathe out. Coming onto your toes, bend your knees. Take a look at the front of your mat. And make your way to the top of your mat. Lengthen your spine when you get there, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, hang your head. Bend the knees as much as you need. Use blocks or blankets or books or anything to elevate if you need it. One more time, lengthen your spine. Press through your feet, bring your hands to your hips or your heart, and rise up to standing. Good. Bring your arms down by your side, close your eyes for a moment. Stay there. Find your Tadasana. So every time you come into this pose, crown of the head lifts, tailbone tucks, arms reach towards the floor, heart opens, collarbones open. Now the energy rises right from the bottom of your feet all the way through to the top of the head and to the puppy dogs. Open your eyes, bring your arms up overhead, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, hands to floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, hands on floor, shins or blocks again. Exhale, step to a high plank, lower chaturanga. Roll through for up dog or a low cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Looking good, guys. Breathe in and breathe out. Pressing your heels towards the floor. They may or may not touch. Doesn't matter. Rise on your toes, bend your knees, make your way to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And ride your breath to stand all the way up to the top. Hands to prayer, arms by your side, Surya Namaskara A. One more time. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, hands to floor, shins or blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk, step, float, half fly through your chaturanga or skip the chaturangas and make your way into a downward facing dog. Go for it, Cindy. Cindy will do everybody's chaturanga push-ups if you want. I'll give you that task. And just stay here and breathe, hang out. You know, this is the joke of yoga is this is now becoming a resting pose. Come high on your toes, bend your knees, make your way to the top of your mat. Look up as you inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Rise to standing, bring the arms with you. Hands to prayer, exhale, arms down by your side. Last time, Surya Namaskar A together if you want. Inhale, exhale, forward fold, hands to floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Make your way through that vinyasa, plank, chaturanga, upward dog. Extra push-ups, no push-ups, you choose. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Inhale. And exhale. Good, now take your right foot and step it in between your two hands. Stay on the ball of your toes, or you can go to the ball of your foot, or you can go to your knees, and then come up to your fingertips. Lengthen your spine, pull that right hip towards midline, and then maybe your hands just hover off the floor. And as your hands hover off the floor, you have to feel that right glute really engage for some power and strength here. And then rise up with your arms by your side, back out of your front knee, and rebend it. Bend your back knee, stay low, and then straighten your back leg out. Bring the arms up overhead, inhale. Exhale, settle into this pose. Feel that left hip push forward. Tuck your tailbone underneath you. Reach your arms up. Bring ribs and hips towards each other so there's no real arch in that back. One more breath as we fold down. Left hand's going to stay on the floor. Right arm's going to spin up and around to a twist. Stack your shoulders. Eye gaze goes up. Hug the hips towards center. The same feeling and action we had in that crescent pose when our hand is on the floor. Big breath. 1, 2, let go on the third breath. Hands to floor, step back through a vinyasa or skip it and meet in downward facing dog. Remember, you can always modify even that to your knees, to cobra, to child's pose. Settle in, let it go. You know, once you've done it, you can't do it the same way twice. You can try to imitate it. Look forward, left foot steps. So settle in first, get your knee over your ankle, find your points, right, your alignment. Draw that left hip in, and then come to your fingertips of the right leg. That back leg is still strong. And then hover the fingers off the floor and fire up your glutes. Good. And then rise up to standing. Arms are still by your side, straighten your front leg. Rebend your front leg. Bend your back knee. Good. Now, straighten the back leg without lifting the hips and bring the arms up, crescent lunge. So find the energy in both legs. Hug everything towards midline. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Good. Fold down. Exhale. Left arm comes spinning around to our twist. Hug your hips into midline. Gaze up at your arm. Pull your right shoulder towards the center. Pull your left shoulder over your right. Breathe. Don't forget that back leg, guys. One more breath. As you empty the breath, both hands are on the floor. Step back, take your vinyasa, or not. Good. Downward dog is where we meet. Good, Lise. Breathe. Hang your head. Good. Look forward. Step your right foot forward. Rise up to your crescent lunge, so stay low in the hips. This time I want you to open to a water wheel, right arm behind you, left arm to the front, and as if you're being pulled in two directions with your arms, so you're into the twist. Breathe, hug that hip in towards midline. If you like, right arm can come down, left arm can come up, push that left hip forward. Reach out of your waistline, breathe in. On the emptying breath, left hand comes down, right arm comes back up for our twist. As you exhale, right hand comes inside right foot. Keep on the ball of your foot and open the twist to the left side. Left arm up, stack shoulders, hug hips to midline. Breathing in, breathing out. One more big breath. Looking great, guys. Exhale, hands down, step back, vinyasa. Hence the name of the class, right? Vinyasa flow, hatha flow, whatever you want to call it. Vinyasa, moving breath with movement. It's like a dance. Left foot steps forward. Come up to your crescent lunge, take your time, arms up. Don't forget your back leg. Exhale, open water wheel. Left arm sweeps around. We open up to the left side. Hug your hips towards midline. Pull that right kneecap up. Pull back with your left arm in front with your right arm. So it's like warrior two, but you're into the twist. Unless you're with child. Then go the other way. Left arm down, right arm up. That's an option. Pull that right hip forward, hug into midline. One more breath. And as you exhale, we windmill down. Right arm's going to stay. Left arm's going to twist. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then the left arm's going to come inside the left hip or the left leg. Staying on the ball of the right foot, right arm comes up. Now any variations, I didn't offer this to you on the other side, but you guys know. I can see. You know where you're at. One more breath. As you exhale, we take a vinyasa to clear the slate. Or we just enjoy a little release. Sit back into your downward dog. Hang your head. Shake out your neck, yes and no. Good, one more time. Let's step that right foot forward. Rise up, crescent lunge, arms up. Open to your water wheel as you exhale. Right arm down, left arm up as you inhale. Left arm down, right arm up as you exhale. Notice the breath and movement. Right hand inside, right foot, left arm up. Now spin your back foot on its side about 45 degrees. Hug your right hip into the midline. Right knee over the ankle. Good. Now let's go ahead and take that left arm down. Hands on either side of your right foot. Your back foot is turned almost forward. Your heel and your instep or your heel aligned with your outer heel. Or some of you like me, I go wider these days. And then rise up, warrior one, arms come up. Inhale, sink a little bit lower. Now your hands don't have to touch in these crescents and these warriors. I obviously have the flexibility where I can, but not everybody has that. So separate your arms if you need to. Work on getting your shoulders and hips forward. That's your job today in warrior one. Good. Bend that front knee. And Cody's having a good yoga class. One more breath. As you exhale, hands to the floor. And again, take that vinyasa or skip. Roll through it. Upward dog. Beautiful, guys. Downward dog, we meet. Left foot steps forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. Arms all the way up. Exhale, open up, water wheel. And if you like to reverse it, reverse it. As you exhale, right hand down, left arm up, twist. Open up to the left side, but hug the hips to the midline. Left arm down, right arm up. This time we're going to spin that back heel on its side. Tuck the tailbone underneath you. Side angle variation. Breathe in. Now, release the right hand. And let's rise up, warrior one. Come all the way up. Check out your back foot. Make sure it's not turning to the side of your mat, but it's turning almost to the front. Heel to instep, or maybe wider alignment. Now bend your front knee and press your right pinky toe to the floor. Bring your ribs and hips towards each other so you're not dumping into that lower back. Inhale and exhale. Good, guys. One more breath. As you empty the breath, take that vinyasa your way. Upward dog, downward dog, hips up in the air. Breathe in and empty out. So you should be getting warm by now. Soften your knees as you rise up on your toes. Make your way to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Empty the breath, forward fold, hang your head. Separate your feet hips width apart. That's two fists if you're not sure. And then bring your hands onto your thighs. Sit your weight back into your heels and look forward towards the front of your mat. Good. Now, you're only supporting yourself minimally with your hands. So if you lift your hands, nothing changes in your body. Right? There you go. And now take those arms out in front of you like you're in a tug of war. Push down through your feet. Rise your torso halfway up. Your knees are apart. Roll your shoulders back and down. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Then pressing through the feet, rise all the way up. Hands to your heart center. Heels and toes touch together, arms by your side. Surya Namaskar B, slowly. Bend the knees, sweep the floor. Reach the arms up. So now our knees are together. Sit back a little bit more. Look for your toes. Make sure you can see them. And as you exhale, fold over, head to shins, lengthen your spine. Halfway lift, inhale. Walk, step, float, hop, fly. You choose what speaks to you today. Maybe it doesn't speak to you today and it did every other day. Who cares? Do what's right for you. Right foot steps forward. Left foot's going to turn, warrior one. Arms come up on the inhale. And as we exhale, we flow through vinyasa. Upward and downward facing dogs. Beautiful, guys. When you're ready, left foot steps forward, right foot turns, warrior one. Inhale. Exhale through chaturanga. Upward and downward dogs. You know, I cue it, but again, if you want to skip it, skip it. Find your downward dog. Settle in here. Allow your heart rate to slow down with a slow, easy breath. One more breath. Rise on your toes, make your way to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, sweep your arms up, Utkatasana chair pose. Press through your feet, rise up. Hands to your heart, arms by your side. Good. Inhale, sweep the floor, bend the knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Bring your hands to your heart center. Lengthen your spine, then twist right, left elbow outside right knee. Drop your seat lower so your hips and knees can become level. Good. So try not to collapse, beautiful guys. Try not to collapse your belly or your chest on your thighs and pull that left hip back so you're sitting lower. Look down to the floor. If you need to, take hands or feet to the knees to the floor. Otherwise, let's try to step back into that twist. So lunge, twist, thumbs to heart center. Breathe in. Hug your hips towards midline. Breathe out. Can you lift your belly a little bit more off your thigh? On the inhaling breath, everybody rise up and find your water wheel. Right arm out, back, left arm forward. Reverse your water wheel. Exhale, left arm down, right arm up, twist. Exhale, right arm down, left leg turns, open up for your side angle. Release your left hand, sweep up warrior one, inhale. Exhale, vinyasa. All the way through, up, and downward facing dogs. Breathing in, breathing out. Bring your feet to touch the back of the mat. Lift your right leg in the air nice and high. Step that right leg all the way through. Rise up to crescent lunge, inhale. Exhale, hands to prayer, twist to the right side. Here we are again. Left arm outside right thigh. Option, stay where you are. Option, drop to your knee. Option, bring your hands and maybe your knee to the floor and take a variation of Kundalini. Right leg is forward, left leg is back or out. This is a choice. This is not the whole deal. Let's see. Let's see who chooses. Beautiful. Good, Tish. Good, guys. Good. Honoring yourselves. If you're in the balance, bring yourself back into your twisted lunge. Look down at the floor in front of your right foot. Step your left foot to your right foot. Back into your chair twist. Adjust your torso. And then exhale. Fold over your legs. Separate your feet hips width. Lift up your toes and slide your hands right underneath your feet. Lengthen your spine. Inhale. Exhale, put the weight towards the wrists and press down, lengthen your spine. Inhale, exhale, elbows out to the side, head to the shins. Breathe. Inhale, lengthen again. Pull against your feet. Release your hands from your feet. Heel toe your feet together. Chair pose, rise up. Stand all the way up. And release your arms. Take your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, palms together. Lengthen your spine here. Do a little bit of a back bend here. Oh, or maybe a lot of a back bend, but make sure the back bend occurs in the middle upper back rather than that lower back. So lift out of your waistline first. One more breath. And then come on back to standing. Arms by your side. Close your eyes, find mountain pose. Find that stillness, find that peace. Find that power. So in every pose we build in peace and power all at the same time. Inhale and exhale. Open up your eyes, bend your knees, sweep the floor, chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands to your heart center. Twist your right arm outside your left thigh. And then automatically, I kind of draw my knees together and sit down a little bit lower so my hips and knees are level. And then lift the belly up off the thigh. Maybe I look over my left shoulder. Maybe I need to keep my eye gaze down. One more breath. And however you choose to get there, step your right foot back and you're in that lunge twist. When you arrive, get your belly off your thigh, get your torso up and lifted, hips pull. Everything we've done up until now is in this pose. Then rise up to standing, water wheel, left arm back, right arm forward. Choose to stay there or take that reverse. And as you exhale, right arm down, left arm up, open up your twist. Next exhale, left hand is down, right foot turns on its side, right arm comes up, breathe. Release the right arm down, come up to warrior one, inhale. Exhale, release, and vinyasa, or skip, up and down dogs. Hips up in the air. Feet together at the back of your mat. Left leg in the air, nice and high, look between your hands, and bring that left leg through. Rise up, crescent lunge, arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands to your heart center, lean slightly forward, and do that twist, right arm outside left thigh. Option to stay here. Option to bring your knee to the floor, or bring your knee and your hands to the floor, or any which way you can get your hands down on the floor, and then take it into maybe your arm balance, left leg forward, right leg back or out, or none at all. Don't worry if you can't do this. If you don't have a good enough twist, it's going to be hard to get into it, but practice. That's why yoga is called practice, right? It's always dress rehearsal. And when you're ready from flying, come back into your twist. Knee over the ankle, look down at your left foot. Step right foot to left foot. Find that twist. And then as we exhale, we fold over. Separate your feet hips width apart. Lengthen your spine. Once again, I want to step on my hands, especially if I took that arm balance. So bring your toes on top of your hands, your hasas on your padas. And breathe, your hasas under your padas. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Exhale, elbows out to the side, head to the shins. Send your weight forward. You're going to feel like you're falling forward. Trust yourselves. Put a little bit more weight into those wrists and release that tension from down dogs, planks, arm balances. Lengthen your spine, look up. Release your hands. Forward fold, let it go. Ragdoll your way to standing all the way up. Take your time. Shoulders roll back and around. Arms come up overhead, inhale. Exhale, take your arms now behind your back, interlace your fingers, or bring your hands into any clasp position, or reverse prayer behind your back. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, fold halfway on this one. Halfway. So your torso is parallel to the floor. Good. And then see if you can continue with a long spine and fold a little bit more. If you start to feel this pulling on your shoulders, you can undo your wrap, your bind, wherever you are, and then maybe your head comes towards your shins. Breathe in, breathe out. On the inhale, we rise all the way back up. Release your arms by your side, roll your shoulders back and around. Good. Bring your arms down. Find that Tadasana again. Inhale and exhale. Inhale your arms up overhead, bend your knees. Utkatasana. Take your right leg and cross it over once, twice, or stay on the floor. So lower your hips and square them. Right arm under left once or twice, eagle wrap. So remember we did this earlier in class to open our shoulders. Now keep your torso upright on this. Drop your tailbone, hips level. Breathe in. Breathe out. Awesome. So try to bring your knee in line with your elbows, which are in line with the midline of your body. One more breath. Rise up, release just the right leg. Float it behind you. Warrior three with eagle arms. Just for a moment, listen carefully. We're only going to step about halfway back. Straighten the front leg. Make sure you can see your back foot if you're looking in the camera, or make sure that you're not on tight ropes, but you're on tracks. So your back foot is like a warrior one, but the hips are forward. So we still have our eagle wrap, right arm underneath. Lift your heart up. Exhale, release the arms, take them overhead, palms together, cross thumbs. Exhale, we're going to bend the front knee, chin to chest, round and curl, and put your forehead right on top of that knee. And if your forehead doesn't connect to the knee, you bend your knee more. Head to knee stretch with a bent, rounded spine. So this is kind of unique in our hotter series, right? In our 26 series. Take another breath. Now inhale, lengthen your spine. And then bring the arms back out in front of you, palms by your, or biceps by your ears, and rise up to standing. Go back to the arms behind your back, what we just did. Fingers, wrists, forearms, elbows, or reverse prayer. Same leg is forward. Inhale, this is going to be a straight leg. Hinge forward at your hips, head to tailbone, long line. So stop where your back is still flat. Shift your weight back a little bit and then forward. So even it out. And then maybe you can hinge a little bit longer, still keeping that front leg straight. Once that front leg has to bend or you start arching, you're rounding your back out of it a little bit. Keep long in your spine. Beautiful. Try to bring now your tail, but your head towards your shins. One more breath. Up. Beautiful. Take time. Rise up to standing. Release your arms. Roll your shoulders. Step your right foot forward and bring your knee to your chest. Just hold it. Flex and point, roll through the ankle. And then slide your right hand down the ankle. And spin it on to the inside of the ankle. Knees are together. Left arm up in the air. You can stay right here. You can hold onto a wall. Or you can begin to kick, arch, and tilt. And ideally, the knee is hidden behind you. Breathe. Any variation of this pose is welcome. Beautiful, Rach. Nice, Lise. Breathe. And then slowly bring it back in. Right leg down, arms by your side, Tadasana. Inhale. Good. Arms come up. Exhale, step your left foot back 2 to 3 feet. Hips are squared. I think this is the way we got into it. Now, take your palms together and cross the opposite thumb. And how do you know it's the opposite thumb? Because you naturally just habitually go to the same side all the time. So just switch wherever you habitually went to. Bring your chin to your chest, round and curl, head to knee. And if it's not the same, if it's the same side, so what? Pull the right hip back, forehead to the knee, rounding and curling. So if your forehead and knee can't meet, what do? You bend your knee more. And shift the weight back and shift the weight forward and pull the belly up and in. So you have some really good stability here. One more breath. And then tuck the chin in to rise back up to standing. Good. Release the arms by your side, behind your back. Interlace fingers, wrists, forearms, elbows, or reverse prayer. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come halfway down. Stop halfway down. Scan your body, head to toe. Tailbone and head in one line. Right leg pulls back, left hip pulls forward. And as long as you can maintain a long spine here, continue to go down. Inhale and exhale. See how it feels to change where your weight is shifting, right? Back leg, front leg, or both legs. As long as you can maintain a long spine, continue to go down. If it starts to round, just stay where you are. Another breath. Now rise up with the strength of your spine. Press all the way up. Release your arms, take them overhead. Exhale, bring your left knee to your chest. Hold on to it, just relax. Shoot the ankle around in both directions, flex and point. And then take your left hand down your left shin, pull the leg back, and then move your hand onto the inside. I know, Laura, you like it the other way, so feel free. Knees stay together, hips points are same. Right arm is up. Ideally, we're going to kick back, and if we do, we're going to have our knee in line with our hip. So once that hip starts opening up, back off again. And same thing. Good. And any variations that you have on this dancer's pose or this standing bow pulling pose, depending on what lineage you want to follow today. Good. One more breath and we come back slowly to the center. Arms down, legs down. Separate your feet hips width apart. Forward fold, hang your head. Sway a little bit through the torso, just release that spine. And then come back to center or lengthen your spine. Take your feet as wide or wider than your mat and your hips and drop your seat into Malasana. Arms inside of your thighs, hands to prayer. Close your eyes so you're not really worried about what you look like visually, but rather how you feel on the inside. And then push your knees against your arms and your arms against your knees, just dropping into that pelvic bowl. Another big breath. All right, so with some modicum of grace, we're going to drop our seat to the floor and maybe come into Upavista Konasana. You can turn to your side. This is where I'll probably turn my mat to the side. So wide-legged stretch, one hand in front, one hand behind, and just lift your hips up so you've got some flight. And then drop your hips down so that you're in front of your sitting bones. And then bring your hands back to center. So take your arms out in front of you, one arm's length, and then look at your toes and notice where they are. Are they turned in? Can you rotate the hip open so the toes point to the sky? Yet you're still in front of or on your sitting bones, but not behind them. If you're behind them, sit on a block or something. Towels, blankets, whatever you got. Lengthen your spine. And begin to walk forward and just stop the first point you feel it. For me, it's right away, right? I have tight inner thighs, hamstrings, hips. I got it all. So I feel it pretty early. Some of you are going to go all the way down and not even feel it. So work on opening the toes a little bit more. And then continue to take yourself forward. I like to sometimes take a block and I kind of move it out to my furthest point and take a breath. And then maybe I can move it out a little bit more as I continue to breathe. Right? Kind of play with that little trick there for myself. All right, so continue on here. Stay for 3 more breaths. Upavista Konasana, wide-legged, wide-angled pose. Inhale and exhale. So the goal is not necessarily to put your head to the floor. Yes, Lori, I like that, of course. But to get your chest towards the floor. Slowly walk your hands back in. Take your time. Uh-oh. And then when you're done, just bring your legs in, shake them out, and spin your legs if you're not. Just spin your legs out in front of you. And walk down to like the bottom third of your mat so that when you lay down, your head will be on the mat. And bring your feet hips width apart, or you can always use your block in between your knees. That right away, that activates that pelvic floor. So you choose. Sit up nice and tall. If you notice that I'm sitting as close as I can to my sitting bones being behind me. And then let go of your arms without any collapsing in your spine. Reach, reach, reach. So if you have the block, you can just push your knees into the block. That helps to really activate all that core musculature. One more breath with this. And then bring your chin to your chest, round your spine. Start to move backwards. Start to move backwards. Take your time. Take your time. Don't skip this part of your back, this lower back, right? From your tailbone to your mid-back, you've got to start to articulate a little bit more. When you get to the tips of your shoulder blades, take a breath there. And as you exhale, hold there. Flex your wrists, so take your arms by your side and push like you're pushing a wall away. And then bring your hands behind your head. Nothing else changed. Legs come up. Flex your feet. Lift your head and shoulders a little bit more. Keep your knees over your hips, not over your abdomen. Yeah, so you'll feel a little bit of tension there. One more breath. Good. Now as you exhale, lower your head, lower your feet. And just bring your arms back by your side. And notice as you lower your hips, and you can use the block or not, that your back, I don't know if you can see it, but your back kind of arches, right? So right here, just if you're in a natural, just you let go and there's nothing to think about, you could probably put one or maybe two hands between your lower back and your middle back. Okay, now, keep your hands there if they are, and tilt your pelvis so your pubic bone points up. And notice how it squishes your hands. And then snuggle your arms out and bring them by your side. Keep that position in your spine. Walk your feet a little bit closer. If you have a block or not, doesn't matter. It does matter. It will make it more challenging, but that's okay. Tilt your pelvis, point your pubic bone up. Keep that impression in your mind and in your back until we start to peel up. So we're going to go into our first bridge. Take a breath in. Exhale, peel your spine up. And I'm going to turn my head, don't turn yours. Just get your shoulders underneath you. If you like to, you can bind your hands behind your back. Point your knees forward. Pull your heels energetically towards your hands. And your hands energetically towards your heels. Squeeze the knees. Lift up. The pelvic muscles are nice and strong. Your breath should be pretty loud because your chin and your throat, chest are, or you're compressing that sound there. Fifth chakra. Breathe. And then when you're ready, release the arms if they're clasped, upper, mid, lower back to the floor. Don't hug your knees and just let your knees rock side to side. If you have a block, you can remove it, or you can keep the block there as you move, but you won't get as much satisfaction in the hips. And we're going to do a second set of bridge or wheel. Those of you who are familiar with wheel, there's a lot of options you can do from there. So if it's something you do regularly and you want to play with it, you can try adding a leg, lift in the air. You can try to get your forearms onto the floor behind you. So take your choices here. Start with your traditional bridge, lowering or scooping your belly, pulling your pubic bone up to the sky, and articulating off the floor so you're resting on your shoulders. If you're coming to wheel and you're not already there, hands on the floor. Come lightly to the top of the head, and then lift your heart up all the way. And again, we're energetically pulling our heels towards our buttocks, and we're energetically keeping our knees in line with our hips. If you're playing anywhere, feel free to lift one leg or the other leg if you have, because I don't know all of you personally in your practice. Some of you can get into your forearm. I cannot remember the Sanskrit name for it. It's just way too long for me. And when you're ready, you come down upper, mid, lower back to the floor. When you are done, hug your knees into your chest. Rock on your spine from side to side and make circles. And let's take a happy baby pose. Take your feet to the ceiling, hold on to the toes or the outer foot, or maybe underneath the hamstrings. And again, make sure your tailbone is on the floor and your back is fairly imprinted here. Bring your knees on the outside of your ribs, feet towards the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. Melt your body down. One more breath. Release the legs softly, hold the knees to the chest. Round and curl your spine, hold on to your ankles. Pull everything nice and close. One more breath. Good. Lay down on the mat. Let's take a final spinal twist. Your choice if you want to wrap once or twice or at all, or just let those hips move over, or hips to the right, knees to the left. Twisting. Any variation if you'd like. You can take one or both legs out to the side on that top leg, on that left side, excuse me. Get a little bit deeper into that outer hip if you have the space. I know a lot of us are practicing in tight spaces. Some people practice in their bathrooms, so you got closets. So go where you can go. But if you do hit a wall, I encourage you to use it. And if you're in any other position but a bent knee, undo it, come back, hug the knees back to center. Let's lift our head and shoulders one more time. And then lower your head, open up your arms, hips move left, knees move to the right. And then maybe you want to take one or both legs out to the side. You choose. And if you do stretch that top leg out, think about pulling your hip away from the right, so towards the left, and pull the foot towards the right. It just gives a little bit more length. And again, it's all kind of energetically. And slowly, whatever you've been in, come back to your center. Take your time. One more time. Round and curl your spine. Big crunch to the center. And then lay your head down, lay your legs out. And let your body just come into Shavasana. Now, if you need something more than Shavasana right now, a headstand, a handstand, a forearm balance, pigeon on your back or seated or lifted, then I encourage you to take that. And if you're ready to make your way into a little bit of silence and peace, then just come onto your backs, dogs aloud, arms by your side, palms face up. Hips splay open. Find the peace and the stillness in this pose. This is the hardest pose in yoga for many of us because there's nothing to do. Opportunity to stay in Shavasana. Just flick off the sound or the computer and stay there as long as you can. If you need to come back, start to deepen your breath. Begin to move your fingers, your toes, your wrists, your ankles, just gradually bringing movement back into the body. And then lovingly hug your knees one more time to your chest. Turn to your right side, make a pillow for your stay as long as you need or make your way back up to a seated position. Bring your hands to your heart center. Gently tuck your chin down towards your chest. And take this opportunity for gratitude for yourselves first and foremost. And I am grateful for you being here, showing up, giving me your energies, sharing your energies. And this community that we've developed over the last 8 or 9 months now, that is very new and odd to us, yet it's working. So I'm grateful for that. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace to all. Now let's bow down and honor each other to the beauty, the peace, the light within each one of us. Namaste, Satnam. Go in peace and have a wonderful Thanksgiving, however you're going to have it. So thank you all for being here. If anybody has questions, my friends at home, stay fit, stay healthy.